Wow, hello.
Wow, hello.
Welcome back, everyone. It is I.
Glad to be back. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wow, yes. Glad to be back. But also, welcome. This is episode 73 of the NgoVo Convo podcast, where two stupids make a hype.
Hype. Right. That's right.
Am I right?
That's right.
I'm right. I'm
That's
always right.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't say that, but you're right. It's
I'm right. I'm one of your hosts, NgoVo, and I'm joined by Harrison No. And if you're new here, we both just want an excuse to talk about anything that ranges from anime to comics. But also, we have a never-ending backlog that we're trying to catch up on. But it's never going to catch up. We're never going to catch up.
There's always new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Always new stuff. But also, because some would say it's conversing.
What? Like, no.
Wow.
Convo? Like us, NgoVo Convo? Us, Convo? Conversing? Wow, that's crazy.
Conversing,
Spelled right above me?
conversation, NgoVo, conversation. Wow.
Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought? 73 plus episodes later. If you don't get that, then,
I still haven't, so it's okay. Oh,
it's fine.
Out.
Wow. And you can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice. We're on 10 different platforms. We're everywhere, anywhere. Search us. Everywhere. And in this episode, if you haven't noticed by the title, we're going to be talking about Black Adam. It just released, literally, as of recording, it released on Friday, the 21st. So, you still have plenty of time to see it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so, like this episode.
Yeah, save it for
click
later.
Click a pause, save it for later.
You want to go watch it.
Go watch it. Easy. But also, we're sponsored by Anchor, which we'll get into later. But before we get into Black Adam stuff, I do have some news dumpy. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's pretty quick.
Just a little bit from last week. Yeah, pretty quick. So, for anime, there's a couple things. Tokyo Revenger, the manga, is officially ending on November 16th. So, in about a month.
I have time to catch up.
You have time to catch up. Have you heard of Laid Back Camp?
No. What is this?
Okay.
Well, maybe. Well, what is this?
Oh, there's a season 3 announced. But the first 2 seasons and the movie is on Crunchyroll. I don't know too much about it. But it is on my list. As usual, per se, my backlog.
This actually sounds familiar, but
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Season 3.
So season 3 was announced.
Okay.
This one I think you might be interested in. It's called Arknights, Prelude to Dawn. I don't know if you've heard.
I know the game.
Do you know the game? I was going to be like, do you know the game? Because it's listed for 8 episodes.
Yeah. It's probably, it's probably like a prequel or like something like that to it.
I think it's a prequel.
Is that what it said? Okay.
Yeah, Prelude. Yeah. Blue Orchestra anime is scheduled for April 2023. My favorite month next year. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, really?
And the final thing for anime, there's this man named Sasuke. He's getting a manga. Chapter 1 is out.
Oh, it's out?
Yeah, it's out. Yeah.
Remember it like got announced or it got dropped, but I didn't know like it's coming out soon. That's cool.
Yeah, it just came out last week.
Is this just like the in-between, like after Shippuden?
Yeah.
But before Boruto?
But before Boruto.
That's cool. That's interesting.
But, he has a bestie named Naruto.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. For Marvel stuff, there's a lot of Black Panther, like, premiere, like, red carpet stuff. It comes out 11/11. There was a trailer. I think we saw it during Black Adam, a second trailer, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks pretty interesting, I think.
I wasn't sure if that was a new one or if it was just the same one,
that was
but
the
like
second
added.
trailer.
Okay.
I think they added stuff to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For theatrical. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much else in Marvel really happened. I think She-Hulk ended a couple weeks ago. They're kind of trying to round out the year with Black Panther.
Yeah.
And the Phase also.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 4 is about to end with Black Panther. I'm excited. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited for Black Panther.
I'm really excited.
Pretty excited.
It'll be interesting to see how it's handled. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like we see trailers and everything, but I just want to see. I've read did you hear what they were going to talk about? If
No, I didn't.
So I think the director said that if it was a really quick snippet, but essentially I think it was if before the premise would have been like delving into Black Panther's like psyche and like how he deals with everything. So it would have been more like it would probably have been like dealing with the aftermath of like probably Black
The
Panther
war
1
and like
and then the war, like it just how he deals with everything.
Yeah.
So that would have been interesting to see.
Well, the director Ryan, he had to like rewrite the entire script.
Yep.
You know, post Chad death and all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was pretty hard on him.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll do Black Panther right.
Yeah. I mean, Namor looks cool.
Oh yeah,
Namor looks.
he looks
dope.
really cool,
So.
especially in the second trailer. It looks really cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in DC world,
The biggest news is
the
this
biggest
episode.
news is actually this episode. And I won't say the next big news because we'll save it for another at the end. But yeah.
Yes. It's
But
tied
yeah,
to this movie.
yeah, it's tied to this movie. But other than that, I don't have any other news dump stuff. Everything was like really like hashed out at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
And it's like starting to release, so I think we're kind of in the cool.
Just kind of
right
riding the wave at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But do you have any news? Any game updates? Other shows? Anything else?
The only thing that really the newest thing I can talk about recent drops, and it's really just Call of Duty dropped recently, or
yes.
the early access as of recording. So this week you can actually, it'll be this week when this episode drops. So you can play the campaign early, and then the official drop is this week. I only know I don't play Call of Duty. I played a lot in high school, but this is like a rehash of the old one that I played a lot in high school. So that's why I'm excited.
Interesting.
Otherwise, I've just been taking a break from Lost Ark. I've been playing more Genshin.
Wow, I've been playing Genshin.
That's a news right there.
Yeah, it is a news. Surprisingly.
Anyway,
I'm an addict.
But that's a conversation for another time.
Yes, it is. Well, that's all the news dumpy we have for the week. And before we get into Black Adam, we're going to take a quick break, talk about our sponsors. On this episode, we are sponsored by Anchor. It is a free podcast hosting service that we actually use. We've been using Anchor since we've started the podcast. It's because there are creation tools that allow us to record and edit the podcast right from our phones and computers. A huge plus for us is that Anchor would distribute our podcast to all platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and many more. It really is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one spot. Please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, anchor.fm to get started. Wow, and we're back.
What?
Oh my goodness. That was a quick break.
Super
Coffee break. Coffee sip. Water sip. Harrison.
Veronica.
Non-spoiler thoughts about Black Adam. What were your standards? What were you thinking before going into this movie?
Have you seen on Rotten Tomato, have you seen the audience score on this?
I have. It's 41%.
No. That's the tomato score. The audience score.
No, what is the audience
It's
score?
a 90%.
Really?
I just want to add to that. This is why I add this because I'm prefacing this because of that. I'm not saying that that is the end all be all score. It's just I just go off of Rotten Tomato because it's just been like the standard for a lot of people where it's relatively accurate and it's a relatively good way to show the difference between the audience and the critics. And I do not consider myself a critic. I still don't. I'm just saying this is based off my hype levels and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this because, in my personal opinion, I think if I were to rate this movie, I'd wait until HBO Max.
Well,
that is my rating.
That is your rating.
Just wait till HBO Max.
Yeah, I would agree with that. 100%. I did not know that the audience rating was that high.
Mm-hmm. Because I had a chance to talk to some of my friends about it because some of them did end up watching it, and it's actually relatively split, but not really. I feel like I was the minority actually, but then I talked to in the group at the time.
Okay.
Or the few people I talked to, but But otherwise, it's relatively split. But I can say overall, non-spoiler thoughts in that I think DC does a very good job in making and having the cool moments that we want to see on the comic book page on the real big screen.
Like real big screen. Like seeing it live.
Just seeing it live, I think is cool.
Yeah.
DC does a really good job at that. And I think the action and the video effects in this, the effects in this was really good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Plot-wise, I think it fell flat. I think it was choppy, but
it was a little too choppy.
But I will say, if you haven't seen Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, someone asked me this question too. They said, which one would I prefer? I actually prefer this over that.
Oh,
but then
okay.
I prefer Eternals over
this.
Because I think right now, I think the biggest thing was, and we'll talk about it in spoiler territory, but I think there's a reason why the plot had to be the way it was. That makes sense.
I think the setup was interesting in a sense where that's how it became choppy.
Yes.
To me.
Yeah.
It makes sense when you see it. Like,
yes.
You know? Yeah.
But I also think I wish I could have seen more stuff of certain other characters that they showed in trailers and such.
Yeah.
But I wish I got to see more of that. But I guess that's probably more personal preference of like what I care about, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of had to go with that. But Veronica, what did you think? Oh.
I think the same thing. Well,
okay.
Let me just say my non-spoiler thoughts. So
yes.
every time DC, especially DC with like live action stuff, they come out with movies, my expectations are to the ground, literally.
Yeah.
Like, it is so low that I have no hype for it, like I usually do for like Marvel or even anime, really, or even manga that like releases. Mm-hmm. That's how low the bar is for me. Yep. And so when I bought the tickets and you were like in town, I was like, the week of, I was like, I'm not that excited for it.
But we bought tickets anyway.
So yeah, so anytime DC like especially like the Flash and like Aquaman, like Shazam, like standards are low.
And also just for preface, I've seen the trailers for Shazam. I'm more excited for Shazam.
I am too.
Like, I'd rather watch Shazam, I think.
Yeah. I think it'll be more interesting because the setup for Shazam is already done. Like, now we're getting more of him, basically. Yeah, so, yeah, I agree with you. Wait for HBO Max. Maybe, pirate it. I don't know.
I think you had more. No, don't do that. What are you talking about?
Pirate it.
I think you were more critical than me on overall feeling. Has that changed since we talked that night?
No, I still think it's super.
I didn't want to give a score because this is our non-spoiler thoughts, right? But I think you rated it lower than me. You had a lower, you had a lower outlook on it.
That's because I almost fell asleep, and we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. Just know that. I almost fell asleep. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little sad. But, okay, so before we get into spoiler thoughts, The Rock had this really interesting comment during one of his interviews I was watching. And he said that basically this will round out the first phase of DC. So my question to you is, do you think DC has that MCU effect after this movie? No, or like, do you think it can do it?
If this was a phase, this is the most like, I pulled all these scraps together just to make this phase seem like it's a phase compared to like, yeah. I mean, granted, like MCU, we also didn't know phase 1 was phase 1. Let's be real here.
No, that's true.
It was just building up to the Avengers, but we didn't think that was the phase 1. Right? We did not. I truly don't think we had the expectation of how far this would go. Right?
Yeah. We
just figured this would be a continuing thing. So that's what I thought with DC was if they kept with this universe, it would just be a continuous thing that would just happen. Yeah. But I didn't think they would be making it a phase. So him saying that it's a phase, sure.
I mean, he has said it in many interviews, especially the ones of like like Vanity Fair or like.
But I don't think that one scene justifies that this is a phase.
It's a phase.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, I guess we'll go into spoiler territory.
Yes, let's go. I cannot wait.
3, 2, 1. Okay. Spoiler thoughts.
What's your positives? We'll start with positives first.
I was just gonna say that.
What's your positives, Veronica?
I think my positive is that we were so worried that this movie was going to be like The Rockified.
Mm-hmm. We did,
and it wasn't.
It was not.
And it wasn't. It was not. And I think I was very grateful for that because The Rock, he does say like the same lines in all his other jungle movies that he does.
This is jungle movies specifically because you're not
specifically
wrong.
Or he like has this like certain face that he does, like especially when he's like fighting.
Yeah.
And I think I was just really happy that they decided to not go that route and make him like this serious semi-anti-hero person.
Yeah.
Like like he was like not hero basically.
And I think the nice part was because I really did not think it was that rockified. I mean, I can see if there's a train sound, that's me.
It's
just saying.
Harrison.
But I don't like if there were rockified moments, it was very subtle. Like it would be so there's certain humor that comes with his delivery, right?
Yeah.
So that is the most the delivery on certain comedic points were probably the most rock-esque thing that was in this movie, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would say. But then it borderline like, oh, this is just typical like comic book humor, or typical like movie humor, like so. I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, no, big thing is I agree. It's not rockified whatsoever, which is nice.
Which is really nice, and I also like, was it all like the action, especially in the ship, what's his name?
Hawkman?
Birdman, Hawkman. I almost said Hawkeye. I was like,
no,
I'm in the wrong universe.
But it is just Hawkman, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Hawkman? I thought that ship was like really like slick and it was nice.
Yeah. Visual effects were nice.
Yeah, visual effects were really nice.
I like Dr. Fate.
That was my next thing.
I like how they portray Dr. Fate. And Pierce Brosnan did a really good job with what he was given. I think he played a good. I forget which version he was. Kent. I forgot.
Kent. Yeah.
I forgot.
I don't remember
what's
his
first name. Also, but I just like how they portrayed like how he does fate stuff, right? Like how his magic is portrayed, how he sees the future. I mean, yeah, he sees the future, but like how like this is the kind of stuff that I expected from like Doctor Strange with like the which they did. It's the same idea, so it looked really good in my opinion, and I just love this suit. There's a negative to this, but I just want to say I liked the overall portrayal of Dr. Fate.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have any? Oh,
I was gonna say, do you have any positives?
Other ones because you want to jump.
Other ones.
I think Atom Smasher was cool. Cyclone was I never thought of. I don't know much about her.
I never thought of her like that.
But I also didn't
visually
think
seeing her like that.
Yeah, so it was actually interesting to see how it worked. Hawkman was really funny. I liked him. He was cool. He was honestly
You and me.
You and me.
That was my favorite line.
Yeah. I liked the Justice Society in that aspect, like what they could do. Overall, and I also like this twist on how they portray, because it's spoilers at this point, but like the whole
spoiler.
I liked how they flipped. I personally liked how they flipped the narrative of why the city or the country believes that Black Adam is the champion. But then what we're getting isn't very champion-esque. And I was like, oh, of course, because he was a bad guy. So how did they make this work?
Bad guy, yeah.
But then in reality, this is the twist, because in the comics, Death Adam did get the powers. directly from the wizards.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was his son.
The son.
That got it because he was actually righteous. And the dad was just not. And he was just given the powers because his son was just trying to save him. So I like that twist.
It was a nice twist.
Because at times you're like, how did he get to this point? Because and they framed it very well. I thought he was the son when he was a kid. They did a really good job on. I think that's when it was really. This is one of the plot points that I was like, okay, this is good because it actually did get me. Because I was trying to figure out what the twist was because I knew he's a bad guy or anti-hero or a bad. But yes, yeah. So.
Yeah. And then The Rock was like staring at the statue for every
every
scene.
time, and you were like wondering, and I was wondering. I was like, why is he staring at himself?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what is he doing?
But then finally, I never put maybe because I always just assumed that he was the kid. So I was like, oh, okay, or that was
staring at himself.
But then they reveal that that's his son, and I was like, oh, he's staring at his son. Oh, because his son's the actual hero. Oh, that's why that's why he just is violent as hell.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you catch that the wife is ISIS?
Yeah.
I didn't. I was thrown off.
I did.
Did they say it that well, or did I just miss it?
I think you missed it. They did not say it, but it was like the faces. It matched. It matched pretty well.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, I caught on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Got him.
Negatives, Veronica.
Let's get into the negatives. What's something... I feel like this list is going to be quite long. Longer than our positives.
That's why we started with positives.
Yeah. What was your biggest issue with this movie?
It was... To me, it felt disjointed. This is where the difference happened when I was talking about this with a couple of my friends. Where they felt the pacing was okay. Or good. Or fast. And I could see why it's fast. But I think that's why, I think for me, that's the negative.
That is the negative.
To me, it was too fast to where it just kept jumping around too much. It got to the point, it got its point across. I agree. But with how long the movie went, it felt long. For me, it felt long. And I think that's why it was fast but slow. Because it had so many slow-mo. They had so many slow-mo reaction shots.
And at one point, I thought when he said Shazam and they captured him, I thought that was the end of the movie.
Oh, I knew it wasn't.
I legit thought that was the end of the movie. I was like, oh, we're ending it here. So there's going to be Black Adam 2.
No,
I knew. And then it kept going for another like 45 minutes. And I was like, this is the longest 45 minutes in my life. This is the longest third act I have ever sat in.
And I think that's why the pacing was weird because the first half was trying to get a hold of Black Adam. Part 2, trying to
work with him
to deal with the bad guy. Yeah. But then because I was like, oh no, this is not the big bad, because this is where the other negative ties with this. The plot point has to revolve around Black Adam being the main character.
Yeah.
But for a good bit, it was Justice Society versus Black Adam.
And then it was the mom and kid and like their like story for a little bit. Yeah. It was very interesting. And it jumped around a lot.
But with the whole jumping thing, and I think the plot, this is kind of like tied together, where I think the movie's crutch is that it has, or its weak point is that it has to make Black Adam the main character. So even though they caught him, they had to bring a big bad. So then he's the only one that can save them.
To save them, yeah.
And I didn't like. I just don't like that. It just felt forced. I mean, I like Black Adam here. It wasn't terrible, but I think it could have been done better. And in my opinion, he should have been in a Shazam movie. But it's because it's The Rock. This is like an outside thing. It's an outside thing. When in reality, I think Black Adam, because Black Adam has to lean on being somewhat bad, so they had to have something to go against.
Yep.
It's a snowball effect of like, this is, to me, the plot was bad because it's this and it is. You delve into like bigger reasons of
And it's
to
also
me
The
why
Rock.
the movie is weak.
He doesn't want to share it with poor old little Zachary.
And we can go on that one for a bit after.
Yeah.
There's another point on that. But that's my biggest thing is I think because of the plot and they have to rely on him being the main character, they have to give a reason
around him too much.
But because they have to, because it's a Black Adam movie. Yeah, so they had to give him reason to like fight someone, fight the good guys, quote unquote good guys, right? Because in the perspective of the of
Justice Society, he was the bad guy.
What's the country called again? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Hold on, I'm gonna search it up. But essentially, like in terms of like the country that he's the champion for,
yeah,
Kondak.
Oh, Kondak. Okay.
Because Kondak views him as the champion. They had to do this whole like underlying reason of why he's the champion, but it's not really him. And on like overall, it's just kind of jumping around because then it's like, oh, now we had to show why he's a good guy to an extent. Work to make him somewhat good. But the only reason why he's good is the next bad point, I think, is having to deal with the mom and the son. And
the cringiness of that.
I hated it so much. I did not like it.
I did not understand that part, especially like I get don't you dare you're gonna do the sign, god damn it.
Save me.
No. Black Adam, save him. I think the mom and son duo, I feel like they were not needed. I get it for the beginning. She had to get the crown and everything. And I get it. I get the mom being in the movie a lot, but the son was extremely annoying.
The son was there to ground Black Adam to be a good guy. That's it. It was him. Yes. The mom wasn't really. The mom kind of kept him in line, but the son. Okay. Actually, maybe both. It's that family. It's just both him and the mom. It's the family portion. The mom and the son had to keep Black Adam grounded to be. Oh, I have to be good because I gotta protect them. Because I gotta protect the world. Kondak.
Yeah.
Kondak and that's So
I thought, it was very cringy. Act 3 was super cringy to the point where I almost fell asleep.
She fell asleep. I was trying not to bust out laughing, but when the kid had to put up his hand for the sign, he's like, "No, what are you all doing? We need to unite together to fight against the zombies or whatever, the zombies.
The skeleton zombies.
But we're gonna rush out and put our hands up in a triangle and hope he saves us. And unite." I was like, am I crazy? I thought they were gonna go out and try to fight. They probably did for a little bit, but then they're like, "No, we must unite together and call upon our champion." I was like,
Black Adam.
And I was like, I hate this so much. It's like they tried to make him a Superman.
Yeah. And they had a lot of the kid's room was very interesting to me because they had a lot of clues about all the other DC characters.
Mm-hmm. They alluded to all of them essentially.
They alluded to all of them, like Justice League basically.
Yep.
I found it very funny that The Rock punched Superman's face twice in that room.
Interesting.
It was interesting. But also, as the movie was going on, and as this mom and son duo, their apartment was getting destroyed by everyone, no one gave a shit about their apartment.
Yeah. I was like I made the joke so many times under my breath. I'm like, oh, I guess they're not going home. Oh, they really aren't going home.
They really aren't going home. What doors? What are doors?
Yeah.
No, I think another issue I had was I said earlier I liked the fights, but you brought up this point where they had a lot of slow-mo action going on. And I like slow-mo action.
But they did it a lot.
Yes, I was going to say, I like slow-mo actions when it's done 1 or 2 times. Just to see, like, the motion of it, right? Because there's a lot of bullets, like, thrown at him.
The first time makes sense just to establish how fast he's going.
Like, how fast he's going. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And as this movie progresses,
we got slow-mo reaction shots.
Every time. literally every time.
Yeah.
And I think the worst one was when the son was kidnapped by that guy, and then The Rock was like, no, and then he just like jumps, and then you're thinking like, oh, is he gonna really is this kid gonna die by bullet, or is Black Adam gonna save him?
But they kept going back, like not just him,
going.
but they kept going. Like it was like the.
And Hawkman had one too. Everyone had their slow-mo moment.
And it was weird because I was like, usually I feel like movies had to do this to elongate the movie, like the show runtime.
Yeah.
But this one definitely did not have that issue and did not need that to like, it did not add anything too much, right?
No.
It just gave
had no value.
If anything, it gave me the reaction to everyone that was in the vicinity.
Yeah.
So, but that was like, to me, the typical One Piece issue of reaction shots.
Yes, I agree. I do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Atom Smasher?
He was funny. I think that was it. I think that's why I liked it, because I don't know if he was funny. I think it was more like the situations he was in was funny, yeah. But it wasn't like great. Like it was like, oh yeah, he's definitely green, and they said that at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this kid's green. That's why we're having Dr. Fate, or like, yeah. So
okay.
I thought he was okay. I thought it was interesting that they had what's his name? Yeah, that the actor Fonzie.
For his uncle.
As his uncle. I thought.
Yeah.
What's his name? Oh my god, it's gonna bother me. Hold on. But yeah, did you like him, or did you like? Okay, I guess they were kind of the two, like Cyclone and Atom Smasher were technically the sidekicks in this scenario, right?
Yeah. I don't think they were used properly.
I don't think so. It just kind of happened, right?
Yeah, it just kind of happened. And I think Hawkman and Dr. Fate, they had more of a role with Black Adam than the other two.
Henry Winkler. Okay. I was like, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And I think, to me, to introduce them in this movie, but to not fully explain their background and how they got their powers, I think that's where the plot hole was for me.
Yeah. And
especially for those two. And I wish they had more. I don't know what I was wishing for with the Justice Society, but
keep going, because I was gonna add to the Justice Society thing. So.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say I wish we had some sort of like flashback to them working together, so we can get a history of Dr. Fate and Hawkman.
Yeah.
Just because there was one line where Dr. Fate was like, "Goodbye, old friend," and in my head I was like, "How long have you two been working together? Like, what's going on? What kind of old friend is this?"
So I don't remember if Cyclone was a part of it, but I know, and they allude to the ages. They were like, oh, Silver Age, Bronze Age, all that stuff, right? So in this one, I think because Atom Smasher, the uncle, technically was a part of the Justice Society, but that's why they brought in the nephew. But I know
because he's getting old.
Yeah. But I feel like they just couldn't bring in the other important people, like all the like Power Girl, or like not the I forget what the Green Lantern, the Golden Age. I think it is just Green Lantern, but it's a different version, right? They couldn't have the Flash. They couldn't have all these people.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So it was weird that they couldn't, but also, and I think they tried to get Stargirl, but because the show is already happening, that's why this is why DC WB want to be cohesive, but they can't, because they literally they just back themselves into a corner where they can't use certain characters. But they want, I think he wanted to have Stargirl as like one of the main characters too.
No, he did.
So
I just couldn't use it.
Nope.
Use her. No, because she's currently having her own show in CW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, Hawkman and Dr. Fate is like the Justice Society for sure. Like it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like the actual group, and then Atom Smasher to an extent. Not that one, but
an extent.
The Atom Smasher hero is part of Justice Society, if I remember. So
yeah.
But I agree with you. I think they were underutilized, but they had to be there to justify
to equal
that
out every and yeah.
It's like but it's like also I wish we could get an actual Justice Society of America, but we can't. But see, they couldn't pull anything bigger because it's Black Adam. There's this whole thing.
It's The Rock.
Yeah,
it's The Rock.
I almost would say that, but also I think they want to focus on Black Adam, so they don't want to overshadow him with anything bigger.
Yeah,
because he's the main character.
And that would turn into like the Eternals issue where there's too many heroes.
Yes. So I didn't think they had too many people. I thought it was okay. But I also don't think they utilized half the team as well. Like you said. They didn't. You made a good point. I didn't. Yeah. My other gripe, and this is just a Hollywood thing. I love Dr. Fate's outfit.
Yeah.
But every shot, because it's Pierce Brosnan, he had to take off his helmet randomly in battle.
Yep.
And I'm like, logically, this does not make sense. But I get Hollywood-wise, you have to show him with expression because they didn't do the eye thing with Dr. Fate. No, they didn't. They did it with Atom Smasher, but not Dr. Fate. But I think Dr. Fate's helmet is still cool without the eye effects, which is very unfortunate. Because it's
because of the actor.
Yes, they had to show his face. Like they had to. It's the classic issue with superheroes where, you know how in Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire, if you watch now, you notice like his mask gets ripped off
all the time.
Just because you need to show some. I mean, this is more like an acting thing. You have to show some emotion,
and
because the technology's not there. But it's weird when Atom Smasher can like blink and like squint and stuff with his eyes. But then here we are with Dr. Fate because it's Pierce Brosnan. He has to take off his helmet.
His helmet. But he awkwardly took it off at a random time too.
Yes, he'd always be like, and just sit there and like, oh my god. I was like, this sucks. Like I like him as Dr. Fate, but also I didn't like it in battle when he's Dr. Fate.
Yeah,
but I agree. With sequences, otherwise when it has him just being in the action, it's cool, right?
It was nice to see.
Yeah.
Like it in just kind of
on
real form on the magic. Yes. It was really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Do I have any other gripes? Because I really want to get to this end credit scene real bad.
No, I think overall, like I said at the beginning, I would rather watch this over Doctor Strange, but I'd rather watch Eternals over this.
Eternals than this.
Because at least the plot point is cohesive in Eternals. And here it is not, but at least I had more fun watching it than Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange had a cool moment, but otherwise I would not watch that movie again, honestly.
I will have to agree with you on that. Thinking about it, yeah.
I think that was a good question. One of my friends that asked that, like once he asked that, I was like, because they were trying to gauge on how bad it was, in my opinion, and I had to think about it. I think that was the big thing. I had to just think about it.
I'm thinking about it now, but I agree with you. I just want to say, can DC just make a good movie outside of Batman? I just need a good. I need a good movie.
No. I mean, well, going to the end credits, who knows?
But for now, no.
But end credits.
That is our final. Yeah. So let's get into this end credit before we end this episode. So there is one end credit, and it's in the middle, like of all the credits, kind of like how MCU does it. It's
technically the middle after the
it's like 4 minutes in, and then you get kind of a scene. So basically, there's one credit. Black Adam's talking to
Amanda Waller.
Yeah, I was gonna say her actual name. I was like Viola Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis, but Amanda
Waller. So basically, the terms are he can't leave the city. Because he escaped, he can't leave the city. If he leaves the city, he's gonna get basically recaptured. Yada yada yada. And so
Kahndaq is his prison. I think that's what it is. Right?
Yeah. Black Adam's like, I can do whatever I want. Basically, I'm the champion. I can do whatever I want.
I'm the most powerful person on earth.
Yeah, and she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna bring people in outside of this Earth and universe." Earth. Yeah. And, you know, he smashes the thing.
So, okay.
That he's talking to. He's like, okay, whatever.
Bring it.
And then out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. But out of nowhere. Henry Cavill pops in.
No, not only that. They played his theme. Then it alludes to like someone walking up and you just hear his voice. And I know this part got leaked. The idea of it got leaked, but we weren't sure if it was. No one was sure if it was Henry Cavill, or if they said it was Henry Cavill, and I didn't believe it still either. Because like, no way.
There's no way, yeah. And so Henry Cavill's Superman is back, and he looks really nice in that suit again. But all I could think about was The Witcher, because that's all.
It did sound like The Witcher though. It did.
He did.
Can't
so that was. So if you've gotten this far, there was one news dump that I could not say, and now I can say it because Henry Cavill is back as Superman, and there is going
just
to
for
be
this. Is this? Go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say there's potentially a second movie for Superman, Man of Steel 2. That is probably the biggest rumor out there right now. Until further notice.
And this is where I wonder, would it be the sequel to the Snyderverse, and would they be bringing back Zack Snyder, or would this just be a new sequel to Man of Steel, but it is Henry Cavill, but it is going to be someone else,
like someone else directing and taking over?
That's a whole nother can of worms because of all the Snyder fans.
Nice Snyder shit. I say that in the nicest way possible because I feel like he messed up.
No, I think he just. A little bit. I mean, he did give a good. I still think Man of Steel wasn't that bad.
To an extent. To me, it is better than what we've been getting. Yes, I agree, and that is a whole nother topic we could get into.
That is a whole nother thing.
Ooh, yeah, yes. But yeah, so. And going back to what we said with The Rock in the interview and like phases, you said earlier, you were like, yeah, I don't know about this end credit and how this could be like.
I don't think this leads to like a new phase of DC movies.
Of anything.
If anything, this is just a reboot of DC movies. It is not a phase.
You can't even reboot it with The Flash because Ezra Miller's fucking that up.
Yeah.
That
was the Flashpoint was supposed to be the restart button, but now we don't know.
But we don't know where that's gonna go. Yeah. So one end credit. Henry Cavill's back.
It was dope. It was awesome.
It was.
That was probably the coolest thing out of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to see a big-chested Henry Cavill again.
Massive boy.
The massive boy. But do you have anything else? Any other closing thoughts about Black Adam?
TLDR, just wait until HBO Max if you really want to watch the movie. To those that want to spend the money for it, it's on you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, 1000%.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what you have.
But again, I apparently we're in the minority of how we feel because 90% of audience people on Rotten Tomatoes at least like the movie. Actually, let me get the numbers really quick.
You need to get the numbers again before I close this out. Yeah, it was 41% for critics yesterday. So I don't know if it went up or went down.
It is 40%. And yes, 90%, 2,500 plus verified ratings.
Wow.
But
people really like him.
Yeah. I think my brother made a good point is that if this counts international reviews, then internationally a lot of people like The Rock. So
no, they love The Rock.
Yeah,
they love him. They love him.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But as a movie and as a person that likes DC, I kind of wish he was pit against Shazam first, and we build off of that.
I totally agree. But whatever happens next, we'll see. No, we don't make the movies. We just watch them.
I just consume.
We just watch.
Can I do better? No. I'm not going to. Every time it's like, but can you do better? No.
No.
I'm just giving my opinion on what I see.
And our opinions are right. Duh. Well, Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to get updates for when we upload, and subscribe. Big red buttons below me.
Below
me. Yes. Also the like button, not the dislike button. Let us know how we're doing. What do you want to see next? There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be dropping at the end of the year, so watch out for that. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.